Hello and welcome. In today's episode, we are going to take one surface, our double-sided box frame, and make it usable for 2 holidays. So if we haven't met before, my name is Sharon and I am from Sojo Chalks. We are an independent designer for Chalk Couture. And I'm looking forward to showing you this quick, fun, easy project that will cover us for both Halloween and Christmas by just flipping the board over. Okay, so we're going to use our 6-inch by 18-inch wooden box frame. It's 2-sided. So one side has the white painted surface and the back side has a natural surface that matches the frame. Okay, and this can either stand, it's thick enough to stand, or you can do it as a wall hanging. Okay, so that's our surface. Now we are going to use 2 different transfers today. The first one for Halloween is our Beware and Happy Halloween transfer. This is actually a 14 by 12 by 18, but we're only going to use half of it. Okay, and then the other surface, who doesn't love gnomes? Or other design is actually going to be one of the gnomes. And this transfer is called Gnomes. We're going to use one of them and use holiday colors, Christmas colors for that. But of course, you can use any colors you want. Chalk Couture has over 42 colors of our chalk pastes, and that's what we're using for today's project. Okay, so we have our surface. We have our 2 different designs. We have our surface wax, and we'll get into that in just a second. I do have a separate video on waxing, but you'll always wax our wood surfaces. And then I'm going to use 4 colors of our chalk paste or Chalkology paste. So I'm using our new Shimmer Plum. Hopefully you can see that okay. Also Black Velvet, which is just a good standard color to have in your collection. And then for the holiday colors, I'm just going to go very traditional. I'm using the Meadow, which is our true brighter green. So to me, it's a very traditional Christmas green. And then for our red, I'm going to be using Candy Apple. Okay, so we'll get busy with our chalk paste in just a minute. First, let's prep the surface. And you are always going to want to wax any wood surfaces from Chalk Couture, and then any surface that you're going to chalk on that's a non-Chalk Couture product. So let's just say you bought a chalkboard from a big box store, our favorite big box craft store. You're going to want to wax that before you get started. And what waxing does is it provides a really even, smooth surface, as well as it allows the transfer to peel up easier from the surface when you're done chalking. Okay, this step takes like a minute, and it can be a life changer on your projects. I've never said, oh, I wish I didn't wax the surface. I've often said, shoot, I wish I would have waxed that, or I should have waxed that. So our surface wax comes in this little tin. This will last you, it's lasted me over 6 months. I should probably date my products, but it's lasted over 6 months, and I use this quite often. You do not need a lot. I grabbed some on a clean paper towel. I don't know if you can see that small amount that I got on there. And all you're going to do is smear it on, and we're going to wax both sides because we're chalking both sides. So I probably have more than enough. Let me wipe some on this back side. Okay, so smear it on your surface. You want to make sure that there's no globs of it and that you cover all the surface that you're going to be chalking. And so I am just rubbing this on, moving it around. And I'm going to flip this over and do the same on this side. And just put that on with that clean paper towel. I use this brand paper towels I find not to be linty. You can also use a soft cloth, a lint-free soft cloth. Blue shop towels work well too for putting the paste on. Okay, so once the wax, putting the wax on. So once the wax is on, I have this blue buffing pad. It's actually from an automotive section at a store. And I am just going to buff it smooth. And you can feel the pad start to slip over the wax. And that means you're right where you want it to be. And then I'll do the same to this side. Okay, and that's all we need to do for surface prep. If you want to know more about waxing, I do have another video on this channel that's just about waxing. So let's go in order. Let's start with our Beware and Happy Halloween transfer. And I'm going to only use a half of it. I'm going to use the Beware. Now, if you're new to Chalk Couture, anywhere that you're seeing white is a silk screen, a mesh silk screen. And that's where the color is going to pass through onto the surface. These are reusable 8 to 10 times, 10 to 12 times, just depends on how well you take care of them. And really, the only care you need is to wash these out with water when you're done. Now, because this is a new transfer, I'm going to grab our fuzzing cloth and I'm going to give this a couple fuzzes. And before I take this off the backer, I'm going to write the name of the transfer, because on days like today where I'm doing a lot of chalking, I just want to make sure that I can find the right backer when I clean the product, clean the screen. Okay, so peel this away from the backer. Really, it does come apart. I just don't have nails. And when you peel it away from the backer, you just want to make sure, especially this is a longer transfer, that it doesn't fold up on itself. Okay, there we go. Okay, so to prevent it from folding up on itself on the longer or the larger transfers, I like to peel the backer away from the transfer so the sticky side is up. And set that backer aside. And then flip this over on the fuzzing cloth. And this is Chalk Couture's fuzzing cloth. If you don't have one, you can always just use anything with lint. Your jeans, your sweatshirt, a bath towel. And you're going to hit it up a few times just to kind of tone down that adhesive backing. And all the while, be careful that your transfer doesn't fold up on itself. Okay. And so I'm going to place this down on the surface. And look at that. It fits right in. Now, take a minute and make sure that you smooth out any bubbles or wrinkles that are in the silk screen area. By doing so, it'll make sure that you get nice, smooth, crisp lines. Okay. So for this side, for the Beware, I'll do the Crow and Black. That's very traditional, but I'm going to use that Shimmer Plum on the words. And I'm going to grab our small squeegee because it'll get the job done quickly. Your paste should be the consistency of sour cream or Greek yogurt. And if it's not, you can always add a little distilled water, a little bit at a time, and mix it up. Just take a blob of the chalk paste and scrape it through the screen. You want it thin enough so that you can see the design through the chalk paste. And just make sure that screen is completely filled in. Now, this surface is a one-time use surface, this box frame. Because it's porous wood, it's going to soak up the chalk paste. So that's why we're doing 2 holidays on one board, so you get the most mileage out of this surface. And I'm just scraping off the excess, making sure that screen's filled in, and then that goes right back in the jar. And this shimmer plum just has a little bit of sparkle in it. It's not over the top glittery. Okay, I'll set that aside, and I'm going to hit the crow up with our black velvet, which is one of your go-tos in your collection. You'll use this a lot. I think black velvet and bright white are the colors everybody uses the most. And just scrape that through the screen. Really, this is, if you haven't chalked before, this is all skill levels. I think the hardest decision sometimes is just figuring out what colors to use. Okay, so all that excess, make sure I get his feet there. All that excess just goes back in the jar. And I'll set that aside for now. Now, because I have no nails, I'm going to grab our little picker tool, which has this rubber pointy end, if you can see that. And I'm just going to get it under a corner. And when you remove the transfer, try to remove it from 2 adjacent corners so you don't stretch the screen. And there's our one side. Now the transfer is just going to hang here for a second until we're done, and then I'll take it over to the sink and I will just rinse it out with water. Now I'm going to be, a little bit here, just get rid of that. I'm going to be extra careful because that's wet. It'll dry hard in just a few minutes, but because there's a little bit of a lip on this, I feel safe flipping it over. Okay, so there's Halloween. Let's do, and in this case, I'm going to do the gnome for Christmas, and just very traditional Christmas. And I think there's 3 to choose from. I'm going to use, I'll just use this one on the end. It's a nice, simple stocking cap with stripes on it. And I'll just cut it apart. And I'll write on the back what it is. And this board is all waxed, it's prepped, it's ready to go. Let's go ahead and peel this off. And remember, the larger transfers, it's easier if you put the transfer face down and then peel away. Ooh, hear a little thunder out there, you guys. I think we're going to get a little bit of a storm. And line him up. For those of you catching the replay, let me know where you're joining us from. I am in Western Minnesota, and we have been very dry all summer. And it sounds like we'll get a little splash of rain. Hopefully I don't lose connection. This is going to be quick and easy. So very traditional, you guys. Red and green. I am just going to use kind of this beard area as kind of the divider. So I'll do his nose, whiskers, everything up in one color, and then just a splash of probably, let's do green. So let's do red on the top and then green throughout his little body. Okay, and this is our candy apple. This is our very traditional red. It's a great red for many seasons. And this is our small squeegee. Actually, I'm going to trade that off. I'm going to use a mini squeegee just so I don't get too crazy and get all over the place down here. And we'll just do his top half in the candy apple. And I'm just going to give myself a straight edge in through here And this is where the green will come and meet. Okay, and then just scrape. This would look so cute too if you have any embellishments for the holidays, a little pom-pom or a little tassel. Hang it from the top of his hat and give him a little 3D effect. I think that would be super cute. Again, just scrape this through. Nice thin coat. And I'm not sure if you can tell, but there is a beveled edge to this squeegee. And that's the end that I'm dipping into the chalk paste. And then scrape back your excess and put that in the jar. So you ultimately use so very little. Okay, so that's our candy apple red. And then we're going to finish off his bottom here, his bottom half, with our meadow. Now, when you're using multiple colors like this, and it's going to take you a tad bit longer, you do want to work quickly because the paste is drying, and you want to make sure that it doesn't dry on top of the screen, meaning when you go to lift it away, you want to make sure that it doesn't lift up with your screen. Okay, so we'll scrape back the extra, and I'm going to use our multi-tool to finish off these two spots because I feel like I'm getting too close to the red and I don't want to have a blunder. So our multi-tool has kind of this flat, short, small edge. And I'm just gonna get in there in these few little spots, get a little green in that screen. And we are done with our Gnome side. Okay, so all done with that. Big blob of green on my finger. And I'm just going to get under these corners with the picker tool and peel this back. It's my favorite part even after 4 years, you guys. Oh, adorable. Okay. And again, I'm just going to hang the screen for now. I'll take it over to the sink when we're off camera and clean that up. So this was our two-sided box frame, 6 by 18 inches. We're getting a little mileage out of it. We did the Beware for Halloween on the back side or the front side, whichever way you want to look at that. And then we'll turn it over sometime in November, and we will get to our cute little gnome. So one surface, 2 holidays, all under 20 minutes with Chalk Couture. So I hope you enjoyed our project. If you are new to us, please, if you can, subscribe to our channel and ring that bell. That way you'll get notified next time we post a project. And if you liked this project and the tips that went along with it, please give us a thumbs up on this video. Thanks again for hanging out with us, and we hope to see you soon on another video. Thanks.